from the flattery of sycophants and admiration of fools. There's no way anybody will be praising this government without appearing like a fool. When they came in, Tinubu in inauguration ground said fuel subsidy is gone. And then, when he was saying that, there was no cabinet in place. Fuel price rose from 195 naira to 617 naira in one swoop. And then they floated the naira, and naira depreciated, going to almost 2,000 naira to a dollar, from about 460 naira. And the only defense they have is be patient. Nigerians became hungry. His own people started shouting, Ebin power. And their response, be patient. Be patient first 100 days. Be patient 6 months. Be patient 1 year. Be patient 2 years. Half of the journey. And they are still asking people to be patient. Are you praising this government? You are doing it on the blood and the graves of people in Benue State that are being massacred every day. As I talk to you, people are dying in Benue State, not because they committed any crime, but because Tinubu is their president that could not defend them. Benue State is an APC state governed by a reverend father. So spiritually, you say a reverend father is in charge. Politically, you say they are a member of Tinubu's party. And yet they are dying every day from terrorists, from killer headsmen, and no end in sight and no solution. And some people are praising this government. They are doing it on the graves and blood of the innocent Nigerians that are massacred everywhere and every day. You talk about Plateau, you talk about the Northwest, talk about the Southeast, kidnappers are discovered with graves, with people burying people alive. And Tinubu's purported security reports, they don't take such reports, security reports to him for prevention. It is the security report that will help him to take the resources of Rivers State in the name of declaring state of emergency. That's the security report they will see. But security reports to bring security to Nigerians, they will not give him. I want you to understand, security is the basic necessity that every government owes to its citizens. This government has failed in its area of security. People are scared to travel through the rivers, the sea, because flood will come and sweep them away. Look at what's happening in Niger State. 200 persons just died. And it is not a situation that is not foreseeable. These things happen every day. You know, when people talk about Tinubu's regime and they say, these problems were there before him, I actually realize that the media and the spokespersons are very unintelligent. Because when you make such statement, you are actually indicting him. Because what you're trying to say is that this government ought to have been aware or is aware of all the problems before coming in. That means they did not come with any solution. If it is a problem that is not there before, if it's a novel problem, you say, okay, they are facing a new challenge, give them time. But these are problems that have been there. Boko Haram has been there. Insurgents have been there. Lakurawa has been there. The bandits, the kidnappers, they have been there. There is nothing new. A man that said to be the president is his life ambition did not make any preparation to bring solution to all the problems that he knew were there. And now we are hemorrhaging. We are going into more deprivation, into more degradation, into more hunger, into more hardship, into the worst of mankind. Do you know? The present report now is that Nigeria has more malnourished children than Sudan. Nigeria has overtaken Sudan, a war-torn country, as in malnourished children. If our children are malnourished, that means the failure of this government is moving even towards the next generation. They have destroyed their own generation. They are moving in to destroy the next generation. This government has nothing to offer Nigerians except destruction. except wastages. We're talking about security. Do we talk about the economy? This government that removed fuel subsidy say the reason is because they will be saving $7.2 billion every year, and it will help them to provide infrastructure for the people. It will release money for them to cater for the welfare of the people. What have they catered for? This same government has borrowed Nigeria into bondage more than any other government before it. In December 2024, our debt profile reached 144 trillion naira. This government met only 77 trillion naira as general debt of Nigeria. They are now seeking to borrow $21.5 billion. Jesus.
I mean, yesterday,
where did these people come from?
From the presidency spoke about that. He explained, I don't know if you can hear me, when the representative from the presidency spoke about that, he said that it does not necessarily mean that they're going to spend all that millions at once, that is just some sort of maybe a borrowing plan. That's what, that was part of the explanation he gave for that. But if you talk about the current administration, from all indications and what you've said, you do not seem pleased, and you did say that the current administration does not have anything to offer Nigerians. Let's talk about your expectation for 2027. There's been talks about the coalition.
The issue of who is leading the coalition does not arise for now, because we are not trying to build a coalition for the next election. We're trying to build a coalition to build this nation to become a great nation on earth. So we are not interested in scrambling for leadership. We're looking at the next generation. Like I said, coalition is an alliance for combined action. So you have to agree on the alliance first. You have to agree on the basic necessities to return Nigeria to the path of greatness. Then the leadership will evolve. So I am not aware that there are people that you are saying they are leaders, but I am aware that is a collective responsibility. People coming together who are tired of the malaise that is going on in Nigeria, a coalition of the willing who want to come together to build a better society. So it's not a scramble for leadership, it's not a scramble for power, it's not a scramble for resources, it is a scramble for the security and welfare of Nigerians. That's why we are not emphasizing leadership or who is the leader. We are emphasizing what are the manifesto, what are the terms of reference. Then whoever is interested in providing such things for Nigeria will sign up to the coalition, and then the leadership will evolve from there. Having said that, everybody is convinced now that in Nigeria things are not moving the way they should move. Also, in the opposition, you cannot go it alone in order to take out an incompetent incumbent. So you have to come together. In union there is strength. So when you come together, you will be able to oppose INEC that has become a rigging machine for the ruling party. When you come together, you will be able to build the trust from the people that you have unity, at least, that will help you to govern well. When you come together, you will be able to bring legitimacy to your request, and immediately your government comes into effect, you will be able to form the government from very powerful people of substance that have character, capacity, and that have the competence, because you would have many of them. So the coalition is building itself, is organic, is forming up, and then we have leaders that are of integrity, that are emerging from the coalition. And when we combine, then we will be able to deliver for Nigerians.
Do you think you've been fair in your assessment of this administration? Because looking at the health of the economy when President Tinubu took over, it was in dire straits, and majority of those who were contesting against him, the front runners, had also said that they were going to remove subsidy. Having said this, are there any positives you've seen in the last 2 years? Because you can't say, I believe, that, you know, nothing good has come. They've not done anything positive when The government has rolled out some policies and initiatives in the last 2 years. I know it's not your duty to talk about to highlight the positives of the administration.
The budget 2025 is already padded to the tune of about 7 trillion naira. One street light will cost Nigerians 200 and something million naira. One pole of street light, one borehole will cost them almost 200 million naira. What good can come out of such a government? How many people have been held accountable for the security situation in Nigeria? What good can come from such a government? What is their defense? I can't sit down here, like I told you. If you start praising this government, there's no way you will not appear like a fool. I can't sit down here and make a fool of myself. Because you journalists, if I praise this government now, you give me a returning and a cross-examination, and I will not have anything to answer. When you are padding the budget with 7 trillion naira, you are borrowing money to students who want to go to school. Like I said, security and welfare. I wish, I'm not a member of any political party now. If there is any reason this government has given me to praise them, I would have praised them. Look at India appointments. Appointing only Yoruba people, his own people, not even only Yoruba, the Lagos axis. You know, the Lagos Alaye inspired axis of his proteges. Look at it. Whether you say the Chief Justice of Nigeria, whether you say the Attorney General of the Federation, whether you say Minister of Finance, Central Bank Governor, whether you say every notable thing, whether you say Inspector General of Police, Chief of Army Staff, whether you say in security, in economy, what do I say? He chose a fellow Muslim for a same-fare ticket, not recognizing our diversity. Section 15, 3D of the Constitution. He said every association must cut across religious and ethnic barriers. This government, apart from religion and ethnicity, I don't know his basis of appointment. All his appointees performing in an F form, especially those ones that are from his place, and he's not doing anything about them. What will I praise? I wish I have anything to praise, and I will be here singing the praises. Remember, I was a member of that political party. So tell me yourself, give me by practical data, empirical facts, the things this government have achieved, and I will interrogate it, and I would say I concede that to you. But there is nothing to be praised. Like I said, I can't stand on the blood and the graves of the innocent Nigerians that are massacred nationwide to begin to praise a government for what? For giving me tears and blood? So that is the issue. For the first time in 2 years of any government, there is nothing to praise about. I said in Nigeria, you have more malnourished children than in Sudan, a war-torn country. So we are actually like people living in a war-torn country without wars. Look at in Northeast, our soldiers being massacred in something that you know existed before coming in. You are removing resources from there to take it to another place. Yet you found it necessary to spend 150 billion naira for your presidential jet when you came in. So the issue here is I wish there is anything to praise. I have none, but you can help me, and I will concede to you. But by the empirical facts, this government has achieved nothing, in my own opinion, and the only thing they deserve is to be taken out.
Mr. Okonkwo, I must say that our interest was to look at having a lengthy discussion, not just about the current administration, but also to look at the crisis within the Labour Party and, of course, the road to 2027, plus your incisive thoughts on some of the matters affecting the nation, which you have started touching on. But it's unfortunate that we do have a special broadcast that we must move on to. So we want to use this medium to please ask if you can grant us another time so that we can have this interview this time on the
years as Speaker of Rivers State House Assembly, 8 years as Governor of Rivers. You never talked about hunger. You became a minister for 2015 to 2023, 8 years, super minister, transport. where you were borrowing money for exit bank loans. You didn't talk about hunger. 2 years you have left office. I'm in coalition because I'm hungry. You're only hungry of power. And that's just failure on his part. How do you look at it? How do you insult Nigerians? How do you treat the issue of hunger or poverty? Why do you do that? You're insulting Nigerians. You joined Atiku. You joined Alpha because you are hungry. Have you not insulted Nigerians? Just that you can't stay out of power. That's the hunger. You can't stay out of power.
Well, all right. Let me take this reaction from David Offo, who wrote, Omo, Wike really took Amechi to the cleaners. I mean, how can a man that was in power for 24 years, controlled billions of dollars, come out to insult ordinary citizens? That he is hungry. Wike also spoke on how CRA hasn't achieved 25% in Rivers State for his candidate since 2015. And he's absolutely right. Wike made a lot of comments regarding, Amechi's statements, not just Amechi's statements, during his 60th birthday party. But, we've seen Governor Minister Nyesom Wike attack the opposition in this manner. But and people have really condemned some of the things that he has said. Let me take this tweet from Soprila, who wrote, Amechi starts any celebration by thanking the Odilis and the role they played in his life. Amechi has never insulted the Odilis in spite of their disagreements. Wike, on the other hand, claims nobody made him and has even insulted those who made him publicly. #character. Meanwhile, the APC has strongly criticized former Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, and former Kaduna State Governor Nasiru El-Rufai, accusing them of being displaced rent seekers driven by a desperate desire for power rather than genuine concern for Nigerians. The APC, through its National Publicity Secretary, Felix Morka, dismissed criticism made by the trio at Amechi's 60th birthday lecture, where they condemned President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's economic reforms, alleging that the government was weaponizing poverty. Felix Morka stated that the trio has held various high political offices for a combined 24 years and failed to address poverty or structural economic challenges during their time in power. And I'll read a part of his statement. The statement was posted on Bayo Ononuga's X account, and they wrote, the APC strongly rejects the baseless allegation that the APC government of President Bola Tinubu was weaponizing poverty by not eradicating the scourge in 2 years, a feat they themselves failed to achieve during a quarter of a century in power. These three individuals have occupied Nigeria's highest political offices between 1999 and 2023, in all 24 years. The trio, individually or collectively, could not and did not eradicate poverty in their states or country. They did not even attempt to address, let alone tackle, the structural challenges and distortions that stifled the economy and worsened poverty over the years. Rather, they reveled in mindless, rent-seeking behavior, sold national assets to their cronies for mere pittance, engaged in corrupt and wasteful expenditures in their states, and relentlessly sponsored state violence against their own people. That was a very, very detailed statement by Felix Morka. A lot of allegations there as well. Rufai Oseni, a comment from you on both stories.
Oji,
yes.
We need to make season film about these politicians when they fight, because they're very funny. So, Wike is saying that Amechi didn't fix anything. He was talking about Amechi benefiting from God. What did he do about poverty and all of that? For me, all of them are the same, as far as I'm concerned. Because when Governor Wike was governor, I did ask him why such a high level of unemployment rate in Rivers. He says he's been doing building projects and bridges to be able to fix that. And I pointed out to him the National Bureau of Statistics says otherwise. The question is, This same Minister Amechi that was in the last government is at loggerheads with this government. 2 APC fighting. And then the 2 fighting. Edieme 2 fighting. So look at them. These were the same people that said APC is the antidote to PDP's problems. And they came in, but look at them, pointing accusing figures of betrayal. The videos are there. The day Mama Peace was with Minister Wike. I think I've seen that video. So, but the truth is, they get into power, they feel they're larger than life. And he that is saying, oh, Amechi has enjoyed the good of the land, from local government chairman, he rose of the rank. This was the same Amechi that he worked for. This was the same Amechi that at a point he couldn't look in the eyes. Was his boss, like you pointed out rightly. In fact, people have also told me the level of deference Wike has from Amechi. I don't want to say it in public because this thing was told to me on that Chatham House room to show you how much he revered Amechi then. But once they are not together in politics, all becomes war. So please, the question you should ask them is, what have they done with River State? With the kind of wealth that has passed through River State, why are people still living in poverty? And that question is for both of them. Right. Secondly, as regards Felix Morka, that's abusing the trio and also added Peter, because you see, now, anything they will add Peter Obi. Because I don't know how Peter Obi came into this matter now. They will add Peter Obi. What we should ask Felix Morka is, President Tinubu, he forgets that President Tinubu was also a governor in Lagos. What did he do in Lagos? How did he revolutionize or remove poverty and all of that? Are we not saying Lagos is stinking? Has Lagos turned to paradise under President Tinubu? President Tinubu has held prominent roles in politics in this country, from being a senator. What did he do to reduce poverty? He is now president. In the first 2 years, what has he done to reduce poverty? His policies that he says are working, hope he knows. They said that policy was going to add 13 million. It was the World Bank. 13 million people were going to be put into the poverty mark because of those policies. Today, those policies has devalued the lives and the living conditions of people. Today, those policies have led to an uptick in inflation. An average Nigerian is crying and suffering. His government argues that, oh, things are on the uptick and everything. See, I want to celebrate that level of success, but there's a lot of pain and penury in the land.
Well, all right. Dr. Vati.
Okay, earlier on, I commented on Minister Nyesom Wike's attack on Rotimi Amechi, his former boss. And I raised issues using the trope I will teach in tragedy and other tragic forms in dramaturgy, hubris, amasia, to say that this is about a flaw of character. If anybody has ever been your benefactor, even if you have any misgivings about them, you don't have the right to go and rubbish them in public for, whatever reason. That in itself, that public, denigration of your benefactors, old or current, amounts to a disgraceful show of ingratitude. And I think that is that about that. Now, one of the things we also teach in dramaturgy is elements of drama. One of the key elements of drama is character. Because you can't write a play without having characters, without having dialogue, plot, setting, and all of that. And characters are important in whatever drama, whether it is in politics or it is in the fictional world of literature. And I agree with the gentleman who wrote #character.
Yes.
That this speaks more to the character of Nyesom Wike himself. Who has he not fought? He has fought the Odilis, he has fought Senator John Mbata, he has fought Rotimi Amechi, the man that made him local government chairman, made him chief of staff, made him Minister of State Education via recommendation. And I say, and I repeat, that President Tinubu himself should beware, he should be careful Because when circumstances differ tomorrow, this character will not have any reservations whatsoever in coming after President Tinubu himself. And he has sent a signal by saying President Tinubu did not consult him before he declared state of emergency in Rivers State. He wanted the president to consult him. What impudence. However, he's saying Amaechi is hungry for power, not hungry for food. Okay, how is he different from Rotimi Amaechi? He has been fighting Sim Fubara in Rivers State, even after he had left the place. So what is he hungry for? Is he not also hungry for power? So, I mean, this hypocrisy, I think, should be called out. As for Felix Moka, well, Felix Moka is spokesperson of the All Progressives Congress, APC, and he's defending his boss by saying, look, the people who are criticizing President Tinubu that he's weaponizing poverty, that collectively, this person, either as vice president or minister or governor, spent 24 years in power. What did they do to solve the problem of poverty? And his main argument is that that inherited problem is what President Tinubu is trying to address. You may say his language is very